Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, April 4th, 2013. Well, the Carnival cruise ship Triumph that was adrift in the Gulf of Mexico for nearly a week earlier this year and caused great consternation in the cruise line industry had another incident this morning. Actually, it was late last evening. Heavy winds in Mobile, Alabama ended up blowing the 900-foot Carnival Triumph that had been moored for repairs at a dock back out into the harbor. Apparently it snapped its lines. It also knocked over a guard shack and blew the two people in it out into the water. One man was rescued, the other man is still missing. Both of them work for BAE Systems, which runs the shipyard. The ship is slowly being brought back into the dock. It's undergoing a complete refit, apparently, after the damage it sustained from unruly customers as well as the engine room fire that caused the power outage. The flooding in Argentina is the worst now in the past 100 years. At least 54 people have been killed in flash floods. The evacuation of about 2,000 people has occurred. This is in the Argentinian city of La Plata. It's apparently about 30 miles southeast of Buenos Aires. 15 centimeters of rain fell in Buenos Aires, in the capital itself. Apparently in La Plata, about 16 inches of rain fell in a 2-hour period yesterday. The Argentinian president, Isabel Cristina Kirchner, visited the worst affected areas. People are stranded on rooftops, and the military is in the process of rescuing them. The city's oil refinery was flooded and had to close down, apparently because a fire broke out. The situation with North Korea continues to get weirder and weirder. One of the most interesting things is that it seems that all of these bellicose threats and actions that are being uttered from Pyongyang occur in the middle of the night, Asian time, which is prime time in the United States, just right for the American cable TV networks. Apparently, earlier today, North Korea's military said that it has been authorized to attack the U.S. using smaller, lighter, and diversified nuclear weapons, whatever that means. The South Koreans are indicating that their intelligence is such that they don't think that the North Koreans have a missile that could hit the mainland United States, but it could certainly hit islands such as Guam and American Samoa. The American Pentagon announced that it is going to deploy a missile defense system in Guam this weekend. The situation in Chechnya is very interesting, and there's no longer a war going on there between the Chechens and the Russians. But last night there was a massive fire that raged at a showcase apartment and office complex. The fire took place at a complex of 7 skyscrapers in the center of Grozny, the Chechen capital. One of the 7 skyscrapers, a 40-story apartment building, was consumed by huge flames. The president of Chechnya said that only the outer part of the building suffered and not the construction itself. He said all necessary measures to preserve it were undertaken. But a fire happens according to the will of the Almighty, and against His will we are powerless. The devout president of Chechnya is President Ramzan Kadyrov. One of the interesting things about the fire is that in the complex is located the condominium of French actor Gerard Depardieu, who relocated his citizenship to Russia in protest of the French tax policy. His apartment did not sustain any damage. Well, I guess this is really going to happen, this space flight stuff. The governor of New Mexico yesterday signed into law liability waiving legislation aimed at saving the state's nearly $250 million investment in a futuristic spaceport and retaining its anchor tenant, Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic. The new law exempts spacecraft part suppliers from liability lawsuits by passengers. Lawmakers have already exempted spacecraft operators from liability, but some space companies began passing up New Mexico in favor of states that had extended those protections to the actual supplier of parts. Mr. Branson expects that he's going to be launching his $200,000 per person space flight from New Mexico sometime next year. Well, and you knew that this was going to happen. This is a very interesting article. A Samoan airline that says it's the world's first carrier to charge passengers by their weight rather than the per seat fee has defended its plan as the fairest way to fly. According to the CEO, Chris Langton, the industry has this concept that all people throughout the world are the same size. Planes always run on weight, irrespective of seats. The airline instituted this plan last November. Nobody paid any attention to it until it began to run international flights. It's now running into American Samoa. They say that they ask passengers to declare their personal weight during booking, which is then charged per kilogram, which is 2.2 pounds at a rate depending on the flight length. This is the CEO speaking. People who are up around 440 pounds in weight have to recognize that they're paying for 440 pounds, so they deserve to get 440 pounds worth of comfort. The customers will also be weighed in at the check-in counter. He said, there's no doubt in my mind that this is the concept of the future. It's the fairest way of traveling with your family or by yourself. The Pacific Islands, where this airline flies to, contain some of the world's most prevalent countries for obesity, many ranking in the top 10 according to the World Health Organization. Samoa is ranked number 4, with 60% of the population considered obese. Now, the pictures of the planes are turboprop planes, approximately maybe 30 or 40 seats on them. I would have to say that a 40-seat plane filled to capacity with 440-pound passengers would present a significant challenge. This may not be that bad an idea after you think about it. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.